Hi everybody, thanks for checking out the Meta Talk here on G for G. Of course, we are here in Meta Avengers Alliance. So I had done a video similar to this several seasons ago when Team Cole, Null and Kurth were taking off. And a lot of people are like, man, I cannot figure Kurth out. Help, let's talk about her. What do we do to fix her? At the time, we didn't have the scroll of Runamaroth, so often Molly was having to van down an entire team because she had to walk around a tanking agent that had the Hugins Eye and like the T-Bow glove. So the Emerald Prism really shined then because it buffed her every time she vanned the enemy team down to the point where the van was not in this game's version catastrophic, just doing catastrophic level damage and muscling through the counters. Well, now we have the scroll, so we don't have to worry about that quite as much. Neuropurge was kind of the answer to Team Cult. Just, stop those counters. Well, now what is happening is we're seeing two very radically different metas going on. And it's very tough because they will pull your offensive skew into wildly different directions. In this corner, we have the long ball game, the chess match game, the really fucking annoying team of Enchantress and Pesty. And in this corner, over here, total opposite way, we have the one-hit wonders, we have the mega punch-outs, we have the rape and rapiers, QuickLord. More than anything else going on right now, not QuickLock, although there's one that I ran into. It's QuickLord, and honestly, QuickLord is potentially better than QuickLock because if he gets some spray and pray off, he's rising up your entire team. And he has that fatal blow that if he detects that somebody's close to being in range, he will try it, similar to Gamora's Execute. When is the last time you can recall seeing Gamora in the hands of the AI execute somebody full health and make a bad... No. The AI is pretty smart about execute level abilities. Not Fatal Fist, but, dedicated execute abilities. So let's talk about some things that can work against the teams and how they're built upon. So the Pesty Enchantress teams tend to have high hit points, high defense. Pesty is there. They are, they tend to be magic based on the agent, but lately, as of today, there are definitely a lot of rape and rapiers out there. Maybe not always the biggest amount of spider set with it, but the rapier is being used. It doesn't hit quite as hard as QuickLord, but it's still there. So let's discuss one thing that we have to get out of the way first. Two things. One, if you run a Pesty Enchantress team, there it is. That's how I feel about that. Sorry if I've offended any of my viewers who like to run that team on defense. I just happen to think it is a ridiculously shitty team. One of the main reasons why, and this is the second thing we needed to get on the table right off the beginning, is she is bugged. Well, not she, but she is abusing a bug. That bug is the Resonant ISO 8. The one that gives you sympathy. Sympathy is a heal that kicks in when you cast magic. There's a little bit of fine print on that says does not affect quick actions. So you'll notice in some of my dirty tricks videos and everything, so I've used the crooked branch to get around that, because the crooked branch does not have that rule on it. Well, guess what? You don't need the crooked branch for it. You need Resonant Empowered ISO. Why? Because her 6 and her 2 are free actions. So that stupid E-ISO is literally taking that fine print to an absolute T. It is abusing how specific that text is. And free actions are getting away with it. Free actions are causing heals. Yes, you and I as human beings can sit here and say, well, isn't a free action basically a super friggin' quick action? On steroids? Yes, it is. But, as we all know, with stupid ISOs in this game, think about ISO like the missile barrage one for Iron Man. If the ability does not say missile barrage, even if it's in the same slot, even if it's basically the same ability, no. The ISO doesn't work. We do know that something happened with Vision lately on that one. There's an ISO for Vision that was doing the same thing. It has to say exactly what the ISO says in order for it not to work or to work. And in this case, because it says quick actions don't heal, apparently free actions do. So what happens is that allows Enchantress to generally stay ahead of a lot of the things that can be done to her. Especially dots. Because Pesty's on the field, dot damage is reduced. You often see a lot of signposts. That'll reduce it if there wasn't a Pesty. And she just generally heals through it. She's casting 2.0k, 2.2, 2.4k of healing every turn twice. So now that we've dealt with what makes Enchantress good, let's deal with ways that we can fuck her up. The Fire Tornado or Exhaustion is one of the best things you can do. It severely limits her offense, but unfortunately she still gets the worst offense off, and that's the Charm. That is the thing that is the worst with her. Fire Tornado prevents her from using her magic missiles. Not even one of them gets fired, and she will not even Emerald Wave. It's 6-2, 6-2, Allure, Charm, Allure, Charm, when she is exhausted. So the Fire Tornado is definitely one of the things in your favor. Attempting to make her bleed out for all those actions generally doesn't work because she just heals through the bleeds. Now a Ravaged bleed, that might be a different story. So another thing you could think about is running a Despair. That may also help. That might mean you should eventually be able to get ahead of her. The dots might be a little weak, but if she can't heal, they'll still take their toll. I honestly think people running Enchantress could be way smarter and think out of the box. Fuck Pesty. Take him out. Run a Null who loves magic and run the Scroll of Rudamaroth. We do know that Enchantress without Pesty is laughable. You'll clean off those debuffs all day, every day. Hafe, Scroll, Blackest Void, Light Fantastic, any of that. Not that Blackest Void affects you, but the Warp Zephyr. Any of those things will make Enchantress be a pitiful mosquito. She's so strong with Pesty because there's nothing you can do about it. So why not run her with some different, more utility people and run the Scroll? Stop being cookie cutter losers. Think a little bit, people. Try running the Staff of Asclepios and make her heals better. Golden Copus. Force your agent into using the Golden Copus with maybe an eye and This is Sparta boot or the Cosmic Cardinal or something. I'm just seeing so little innovation other than people going, oh, I'm just Pesty and Enchantress. Seems to work. Hurts me. Pesty Enchantress. Oh, wait, let me add Thorns over here. That's about the extent of people's originalities for some of these teams. They're going to put Thorns on those abilities there. If they're smart, Magic Missile should get the Stealthy. Because if you don't have a Tactician, she's not going to be stealthy and the Magic Missiles will get tanked. So, Hafe. One of the counters is switch Hafe over to his Scrapper form. He still performs his combo breaker if you have a Tactician on your side, and that of course irritates Enchantress. But run the Scrapper version. Why not? You're not running into Null and Kurth quite as much as you normally do now. And if you're granting immunity, you'll probably live through the damage an enraged Null and Kurth can do. So there's a possibility. By running the Scrapper version, here's what you could do. If it's early in round 1, nobody's really damaged on your side. The immunity means nothing in the face of Pesty. So why not level 9 and then level 2 into her face, which will be stealthy, huge hit, and then he'll be following up with the level 1, which you slot with knocking, and maybe she gets incapacitated right out of her turn. Just use haste to try to one-shot her. That's certainly a possibility. The other thing you could do is not run Tactician so as not to piss her off and cause extra magic missiles. The other thing that I think you really could do is dust off the king of exhaustion. Who am I talking about? He had his big limelight in PvP. Showed up in a lot of places. Sometimes with Quicksilver because he could give himself that extra turn. It was before Quicksilver and Psylocke. Sometimes with Pepsi because of his love of energy. Havoc. Bring Havoc back. Bring him back with the ISO that says Plasma Wave doesn't kick like a mule. Here's why. Who cares about the cooldown? Your goal is to just one-shot somebody off. But he then retains his ability to keep the enemy team exhausted while stacking that radiation debuff on there. Radiation, radiation, radiation. And run him with Skull Thumper. There you go. There's a brilliant counter to them. Yeah, you've got a Tactician Pesty on the other side. However, you're exhausting him, so you're not going to set him off. He may go for your Havoc and get an extra turn that way. Admittedly bad, but you know what? Worth the risk. Excuse me, it's late. I was at the beach all weekend. So, he'll keep the enemy team exhausted, allowing your agent to maybe do other things. Like in my case, I would run that, and then maybe run Freezy Bleeds to do the Winded. Or maybe run that and Emerald Prism on Molly, or this and the Cube, so I don't have to use the weather control device to limit the enemy team. Havoc can kind of do it for me. Something else that could potentially work is the Shepherd's Staff. And you might be like, Shepherd's Staff, what's that? Well, Shepherd's Staff, like Havoc himself, used to be a king of PvP. Everybody had it. It's similar to the Signpost in the fact that it causes dot reduction. So this is how you get to approach what they're doing. If you don't have a Signpost, this will help. If you don't have a Signpost, you can run this as a buff stick and just never use it if you don't like it, but it still will provide a nice passive in Crown of Glory. What it is it's a quick action heal that causes Lead the Charge, similar to Falcon, similar to Stock Angel. Lead the Charge says, hold on, I'm going to let you finish this round. The next round, you're going to be stunned. But everybody else on your team gets an extra turn. So what I'm thinking of is that if I use this and then I take a Charmed, who cares? Because you know what? I'm going to be stunned anyway. So go ahead and charm me. I don't care. I'm going to be stunned. I don't care about exhausting you because my boy Havoc is going to do that for me. So I'm not going to miss the Fire Tornado. Stun me all you want. I'm Mr. Stunned Agent. Oh, so you charmed Molly and she's about ready to do her tantrum. Oh, she lost a turn due to the cower. But guess what? Lead the Charge says she's got 2. She's Quicksilver. So that's why I'm thinking it might work. If it stuns your agent, who cares? He's due to be stunned anyway. If she stuns anybody else with the charm, Lead the Charge should be able to come in and go, yeah, I know you stunned me there, but I got another turn. That's why I'm thinking that might be a decent item. It's got the dot reduction, it's got a heal, and a pretty sizable heal, and it has Lead the Charge. You could further go super support on your agent, run the Staff of Asclepios as a tactician, run that before the Shepherd's Staff. So now you have a rolling heal going while your agent is stunned, and the Shepherd staff will heal for more. Certainly a possibility. The other thing you could do is whip out that tankard and bring back Warriors 3. Bring back Warriors 3. Bring back Warriors 3. That's certainly a possibility. Here's how you could do a Warrior 3 team and make it work. Fandral goes before her and she doesn't have combat reflexes. On guard. Do that. This way, if she doesn't become stealthy on something, he'll take the on guard hopeful, depower her. Meanwhile, Hogan is a beast. You know Hogan is an absolute infiltrator wrecking machine. If you've got the tankard, you can make him stealthy through his infiltrator side, and then you automatically give him close quarters combat. So if you need to smack that Pesty so you can start cleaning your team, bang bang on that. Natural bang bang on Enchantress, maybe save the tankard for another round. Certainly will work. All the arrows that might be going out, the 3 stack of bleeds from Fandral and the Tenderize, so if you have slashing weapons, 3 stacks of bleeds, it might get ahead of Enchantress's heals slightly. You could use the Hunter set that is on sale, use the Feneb Denarok, and just simply go right for the throat and either take her out and deal with a 2-on-2 and Pesty and the agent, or take Pesty out and deal with a 2-on-2 if you have a cleaner or an immunity person like Hafe. So say it's Hafe and Molly. I Feneb Pesty right off the bat. Hafe does his immunity. And then Molly goes into her tantrum and just beats the enemy team up. She can't get exhausted. She can't get charmed. She can't get allured. She's immune thanks to Hafe. Molly has her way with the enemy team. So that's some possible counters that you can run there. I'll also give you some suggestions on the Enchantress teams. Try to pair them up with something else and use the scroll. Try the Staff of Asclepios to make her resonating heal more. Maybe even try a Shepherd Staff for you and make her have another turn of enchanting and alluring people and magic mistling them in Emerald Wave. Run the scroll and run her with some more attrition people. Sabretooth. Sabretooth, we know, likes to open up with a stun. He'll go for that stun. He'll, you know, throw that sentinel head at you. He packs on a lot of bleeds. He jumps in on attacks. He exploits attrition too. Ares. There's another one. Ares likes to open up with the stun. He swings that axe for bleeds. He causes disadvantage. Use your fucking brain. Do something other than this cookie cutter bullshit. So the other one, QuickLord. What can you do against that? Well, honestly, it's going to be different than Pesty Enchantress. The QuickLord teams tend to have low health. They go for accuracy and they go for attack. They tend to have blasters on the team. Blaster Agent, Blaster Star-Lord, although it does certainly take a little bit of a mix-up at times. They are now tending to run some of the Spider set with the Relentless Rapier and the Cosmic Cardinal, creating a situation where there's 2 follow-ups. If you're running a Hafe, this will probably draw out a lot of his counters early on and put him into sleep mode. Now entering sleep mode. Recharging, recharging. That's what he does. So, what are you going to do against that? Well, my agent was in the middle. I don't know if it's because my agent is my agent or my agent is in the middle, but Quicksilver would always pick him. So right off the bat, Hugin's Eye. That's definitely one of the things you can run for this. You could run Falcon and give yourself survival training. You can bring back a Guardians of the Galaxy team with the badge and use that. You could use Generalist Groot and then whatever you want on Gamora. You can open up with that Despair. Honestly, the best thing to open up with is a Whirlwind and mangle them and prevent them from using a lot of their quick actions. Not that Star-Lord has a buff and Quicksilver doesn't have a buff, but the agent could. That Guardians of the Galaxy team will not only have survival training, which is 80% health or more, you're reduced to 50%, but you have Groot's passive of the reduction lower in health. And now I have a big question for all you procedural geeks out there. Survival training says if you're 80% or higher, the damage is reduced by 50%. So, that means that even if you're not running a Hugins Eye, Quicksilver is light pepper. Cosmic Cardinal, light pepper. That Rapier, though, here's my question. If an attack is destined to penetrate your health below 80%, does survival training mitigate some of the damage off the top? Like wearing a bulletproof vest. If a bullet is going to go through this vest with, say, a force of 40, and the vest only stops things up to 30, is it just going to allow the bullet completely to pass through? It's like, oh, well, you know, you're more than 30 force, so go ahead on in. Or does it take off that 30 force and only let 10 get through? That's my question for the Rapiers. If the Rapier hit is going to drop you below 80, did you get any benefit from survival training, or is it only going to help the light pepper? That's what I'm really curious about. So, Winded is what shuts down those follow-ups. The Cosmic Cardinals, the Rapier. There is not a lot of dedicated Winded out there right now, and it needs to be, and I think hopefully Playdom will give us a Winded before the next PvP. You can use Opportunistic, but it's only a 15% chance. You could use the Dense Electrotech Hammer, which is only a 60%. There's disadvantage, but that only applies to scrappers. So Winded is kind of tough to come by, but that is certainly one of the valid counters. You can run your agent as a scrapper and act as a mini Hafe. You can run the Raft Shank and act as a mini Hafe. Maybe you'll get to one before Hafe does, and Hafe reserves one of those fake, well, not fake, but one of those internal charges that he has. And, you know, break somebody later on. Because I've seen him double break agents because it's the Rapier and the Cosmic Cardinal were attempting to go off. So, that is certainly a possibility. You want to hopefully run a cleanser like the Blackest Void, because Spray and Pray may buff the enemy team. Worst thing you want to see is a Rapier set in like a Neurotrope or a Spray and Pray buff or like a Strengthened on that thing. Anything you need to do has to be in place in the beginning of combat. You can't say, well, I'll bring this and it'll, like satellite support, you'll be like, alright, I'm going to bring satellite support and Quicksilver won't be stealthy. And then I'll run Wonder Man and Wonder Man will tank him. It doesn't work that way. It will if you survive round 1. If he keeps going for the agent, you may lose your agent before he gets off the ground, and there goes that satellite support. So you need something in the beginning, like a full team covered or a survival training. Well, full team covered comes from Volstagg, but he has to get there to use it. So that doesn't help. Survival training is probably one of the best things you could do. You could do Hugins Eye. Winded does come from Frosty Bleeds of the weather control device. See, there it is. Hailstorm applies chilled, bleeding, and Winded. Exhausted is still a good debuff, even against teams like this, because then 12% of the plan will proc, but it won't actually happen. Having to use the Hailstorm instead could be potentially trading one fire for one frying pan. But it's certainly worth the risk, as there is no real other good definite Winded out there. So that's certainly a very good possibility, is to run something like that. You could attempt to run heavily evasive people, infiltrators starting with mirror images. That's good. Yes, you have some gear that your agent can grant the team mirror image, but you have to act. The combat communicator is one of the best things you could do to get around that meta, because you will attempt to go first, and yes, you can beat a Quicksilver with that. They're not lying when they said attempt to go first. You can certainly do it. The other thing is, if even you're not first, you may go second and then again. Combat Communicator really messes with turn order. You might go Quicksilver, you, the enemy agent, Molly, you, and like now when you have two people or on your own team stacked like that, that's a really considerable power play. Because you could really set up some synergies that way, but you could run Anti-Venom Hybrid. The Hybrid has that thing that, the preemptive, or that precognitive thing where attacks can't be stealthy on them. Anti-Venom may do the remove buff passive thing, even if the other person's stealthy. He, of course, has that big deep power, which will hurt Star-Lord, hurt Quicksilver a little bit. The Rapier's raw damage, so, again, you can run a Guardian team, you can run a Symbiote team, maybe. You can run the Hugin's Eye. You can run Falcon to set up the survival training, and then maybe a super high-powered person like Havoc, and have Havoc just beam the enemy agent. You could try the Feb Denarok and banish somebody that you think is the worst on the enemy side, but again, you have to live to get there. So, anything that reduces damage to you directly would be good. The Voodoo Staff would be good for tag team, but it wouldn't be good for the Rapier because it's a single target. Counter weapon might be nice. You never know who is going to get the Rapier hit. So, the Adhesive X launcher will shut things down, but again, that's after round 1. So, the best thing you could do is be prepped right from round 1 that you're going to be under fire. It's like stepping out of a portal into, like, Jurassic World in the middle of the movie or something like that, or the middle of the Avengers Ultron bot fight towards the end. You just need to be assaulted. You need to be ready to be assaulted on all sides and potentially killed. So there you go. That's what I can offer against the two biggest current metas that I've seen today and have been intensely frustrating. I'm so happy to see something that is not those people, because that's all I've seen today on Sunday, and we know this is about 9-8 days before it ends. So I have a long week ahead of me if those teams keep up. It actually makes me miss Pesty Red Hulk again. So yeah, a little thing on that. If you Blackest Void Red Hulk after he's bulwarked, he will not absorb anymore, but he still bulwarks, and that's a little bit different. I used to use that to get rid of that completely, but now he does it. The other thing you could certainly consider doing is, if you're immune and it's Red Hulk and not Pesty, force Red Hulk into blowing up. He's stunned the round after that on heat stroke, so that's something you can do. So if you want to know of something that causes wind at 100%, the Adeline Mace, but it's only one target. But honestly, sometimes one target would be the best thing to do. Go for the agent. There goes that Rapier, and there goes that Cosmic Cardinal. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take a look at my channel for a mobile game called Tai Chi Panda. Did a video on that. And hopefully this week I will be doing a Spec Ops. Look is maybe a little late. I think everybody's got their information. I've won 2 Bug Zappers. Amazing. Give me some ISOs instead. But yeah, I have the Bug Zapper, which you have to turn on for it to tank. You have to use it. But that boss battle gave me an idea for a potential team-up video. But Dirty Tricks 3 and 4 should be coming up. 3 is going to be the more close one. That's the one I've got a little bit more planned out. And 4 will be using an interesting little cycle you could do in the game. And the team-up video is inspired by Taskmaster there from Mission 1. I paired him up with somebody else, and it's pretty interesting with that, especially if you're using the Blind Justice. And I think that is about it. So, like, I wish everybody luck in PvP and that they're not dealing with the kind of day I had. It was absolutely miserable today. But there's some talks about the current meta, and let me know what you guys are doing to fight off the current meta. So take care, everybody.